Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the train went home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home. Yeah. This is a golden hour, where the light hits right, where new burn shines in that coastal light. Every voice, every story, every dream out loud. Yeah, we're lifting up this city proud. This is a golden hour. Well, it ain't golden. Yeah. Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the tram winds home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home. Yeah, this is a golden hour. Ooh, I am. Ooh, I am. Ooh, I am. This is the golden hour. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Golden Hour. I'm Lene Golden with Lene Golden Real Estate, powered by Keller Williams. I'm super excited about today's show. This is a topic that I am super passionate about here lately, especially now that I have children who are starting to grow up and graduate and try to make some decisions on their own. But before I introduce our guests, I've had people ask on there, and I have not answered their questions because I'm just leaving it very mysterious. I wanted to quickly highlight a couple of properties that I have for sale. It's my show and I can do what I want. So I have had two serious price reductions on two listings. So I wanted to share with you guys real quick. Property number one is 3101 Betty Gresham Lane. It is in the James City area of New Bern, back behind where Harris Teeter is. But it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath on a corner lot that has just been reduced to $360,000, which is pretty much the cheapest one for this size that has sold or been for sale in Hardy Farms. So that is number one. Number two is a new construction that's been dropped as well, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It will be completed in the next 2 weeks, and it is now listed at $304,900. I have two other ones as well. One's for $314,900, and the other one is in the 350s, but it's 4 bedrooms and a larger property. So there's my trade for you as far as that goes. So I am going to bring on, and this is the first time I've had multiple guests at the same time. So as I bring them on, I'm not sure what this camera is going to do. So y'all be patient with me as I do this, but I have 3 guests with us today. We have, let's see, where did I put y'all's names? We have Tanya, Blake Marshall. I think I put you on the left. And Patricia Paul are all with us today. Hey guys. Hold on, we can't hear you. Let me see what's going on. Muted in sound. That's where I have you muted. Oh, here we go. There we go. Got it. Hey.
Good
Hi.
afternoon.
How are
Hey,
you
everybody.
guys?
Hey, everybody.
Can you see each other yet?
Good.
I cannot,
No.
but there you go.
Nope.
I'm not socially handicapped when it comes to technology. So the
So
fact that I'm up here,
So am I. So look, it put you guys beautifully in here, but not where I put your names. So I'm real quickly going to just move the names around so we have everybody. So Blake is with Coastal M&R. He's the president of his company there. Tanya, where is your? Oh, I've named them wrong. Okay, Tanya is over here. Found it. Tanya is a licensed massage therapist, my massage therapist, and y'all, the best thing in the world. Patricia Cutler Paul is a general contractor and is partnered with her father in that business. So, real quick, I kind of introduced you. Is there anything you three want to say in addition to that, or just nope?
I'm good.
you did a fantastic job
You
introducing
did
us.
Thanks.
wonderful.
Thanks. I
You did
appreciate it.
great.
Well, we're just basically going to jump right in. All three of you have college degrees from universities, but none of you are using them in the ways that you thought you were going to. So let's just start there. What happened?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I was sold at the age of 18 that you had to have a college education. So it wasn't a I was going to work for my family business all along, but parents and everybody, you have to have a college education. You have to have it. You can't be anything if you don't do a college education.
Mm,
However, that college education costs money and I could have done what I'm doing without it.
mm. Oh.
Yeah. I could have gone to community college and probably had a couple of business classes and those kind of things and learned Excel and spreadsheets through that and been a lot cheaper than a 4 year
Mm,
college education for sure. For sure. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Blake,
Yeah.
what about
Yeah, my university experience was kind of two part because part of mine was a trade school for aviation maintenance, which I'm not doing. But
you?
and then the other part was maintenance management, which kind of leads closer to what I am doing now, but still I could be doing what I'm doing without my college degree at that extent.
Well,
Right.
what do you do? Because Coastal M&R doesn't really give
Yeah,
us a
we
clue.
are. Yeah, it's a commercial refrigeration. We're licensed commercial refrigeration contractors, and we do basically anything in a restaurant. So cooking equipment, facilities maintenance, kitchen, refrigeration, ice machines, walk-ins, anything inside a restaurant, we pretty much handle of equipment, facilities, and everything maintenance and repair related.
So while it is mechanical, it's not aviation
Correct.
at all. Well, how about you, Tanya? What's your degree in?
So I have a Bachelor of Science in
Mm-hmm.
Early Childhood Education.
A little different.
Same thing. My father was a minister, and my mother worked in banking for like 25 years. And then, like in her late 40s, she went to massage therapy school and became a licensed massage therapist. Because they did not go to college, they wanted me to go to college because they thought, hey, if you go to college, get a 4 year degree, you'll have a better life than we have.
Mm,
Yep.
But unfortunately, that was not true. So I ended up going to massage therapy school. Yeah.
yeah. And how long have you
Yeah.
been doing that?
So I've been a licensed massage therapist for 24 years.
Mm-hmm. Very long
Yes.
time. How about you,
Yes.
Patricia? How long have you been a general contractor?
I've been a general contractor. I've been in the business for over 20 years, actually, well over 20 years, actually. And so I have a business degree, BS with a business degree concentration in management. And I'm not saying that I don't use it, but it don't. I could have done it at a community college, you know what I'm saying? But I felt
Mhm.
like back then it was like kind of like exactly what Tanya was saying is my parents were like, you know, you really do need to get this college education. It's really good. You need to have it. Nobody can take your education away from you. But it's, you know, like at what cost too. So
Yeah,
um
that's where it hurts. So, if I met you, we'll start with Tanya. If I met you at 18, what did you think your life would look like versus what it actually is today?
So I thought I was gonna be filthy rich. I thought I was
Mhm.
gonna have a white big house with a white picket fence,
Mhm.
living my best life.
Yeah.
I thought I bought the lie too. I thought like if I get this degree, I'm gonna make six figures and all this
Mm,
type of stuff, and that's just not true.
it's
Yeah.
not what happened, right? Blake, how about
No.
you?
Um, when I was 18, so when I was in 18, actually, so when I started college, I was in for audio engineering. So probably at that point, at 18, that by this point, I would have thought I would have been in Nashville
mhm.
doing audio engineering with country music
I'll be
at
honest.
this
I'm
point in
glad
my
you're
life.
not.
Yeah, me too, honestly. But then I would say it shifted at 19 when I was in the aviation program with my sophomore year, and I figured I'd have to live in a city where a hub was.
Mm,
And that was honestly one of the driving points of me not going into aviation is I did not want to live in a city at
yeah.
all. I wanted to live, on the
Mhm.
coast near water and everything. So that was one of the driving points when I was getting my degree that pushed me away from what I was actually in my degree for.
Mm, that makes sense. Patricia, what did you think?
Definitely thought kind of like Tanya, be like, oh, you know, debt free, all this kind of like money. Because, you know, when you got the college education, I was going into family business, but I got that college education. So that should therefore make me rich. Right? You should be debt free. You should have all this
Yeah.
money, da da da. And I'm very much, I feel like my story very much coincides with hers.
Hmm.
And that's not what happened. And I mean, I'm not saying I have a terrible life at all, but, you know, definitely not debt free for sure.
Yeah. I sadly, I think that's the truth for the majority of
Yes.
Americans. We have
Yes.
been raised to believe that debt is where it's at, and you can't do
Yeah.
life without it. So, well, that's like what good transition into that dream that we've been sold, and you kind of already like Trisha has Patricia, sorry, has really commented on it a couple times already, but um, growing up, what was the message that you did receive for that? Like, what did you hear? Did you even actually? Because honestly, I did not ever hear anything about a trade.
No.
No.
No. 4 year school, go to college, get an education. That's what I that's I mean, that was the line you were
What you
told.
had
Go
to
to
do
college,
to be
get an
successful.
education. Be
Yeah,
successful.
I
You're
mean,
not gonna be successful without it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I grew up in a general contractor's house
Mm,
that transitioned into restaurant maintenance when I was about 12 or 13. But the rule was, it was more my mom was like, you have to go to college. You are going to get a degree in
Something.
something. Yeah. Good, bad, or
You're
indifferent, you're going
getting
to have a
something.
college degree. Which, I mean, her argument was partially from the social aspect, get out of the town you grew up in,
mm-hmm.
go to college, kind of figure out who you are. If you come back, it is what it is. But that was part of her aspect too, is she felt like she did a lot of growing when she was in college, so she wanted us to experience that. And nowadays, which now she's working at the community college, so her perspective has changed since then.
Uh-huh.
So we joke about it now and be like, "Oh yeah, you made me go to college." But
Would you
but
agree with that
luckily
now?
I was now, I mean, I think there is some social things that I gained,
Mm-hmm.
like with friends and living on my own and different things. But I think outside of that little bit apart, because I only did 2 years at university, then I did the other 2 years online. So I was home after sophomore year anyways.
Okay.
So once I got past that, I mean, I was working and then doing online school, so I didn't really
Mhm.
care about the college aspect of it once that was happening.
Right.
So
Tanya, you have anything to add to that?
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the child, but
Mm-hmm.
just giving them the information about college and trade that you do have options and trying to figure out what they're interested in, what they're passionate about, and then kind of go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you guys already shook your head no, but did any of you were any of you encouraged to go into a trade at all, or was it that it was exactly that? Nope, this is what you do to be successful.
Yep.
Right.
Word agree.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they didn't really care what the degree was in.
Mm-hmm.
It was more. I mean, I ended up kind of being in a trade 4 year degree, but it still was. You need to get the 4 year degree to
That's right.
before you can go which path you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I feel like I have a 4 year degree too. I'm working in a trade as well. So that was one of the things I was like, it's so interesting. And honestly, the reason I got it was because if you guys know me at all, and all three of you do very well, none of my sisters did it. So guess who
Mhm.
was gonna do it? I was gonna do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But my dad is just huge on education, always has been. So like make him proud. That was one of the things for me
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
I will be the one to at least get the 4 year education. And it was
Mhm.
a joke with me and Aaron when we met each other. He was like, "What do you want in life? What do because he's all feely conversation and I'm not." And he was like, "So what do you want? What do you want to do?" And I told him there's two things in life I need to do. I need to get a college degree and not get pregnant before I'm married. And he was like, "We can totally do that. That is no problem at all." He's like, "Those are easy goals." And I was like, "Okay." So I did mine's in business with business and business administration. Um and they actually ECU sent me one in finance. I kept it because that looked better than
Mhm.
general business.
Mhm.
Nobody one time has ever asked to see my degree or asked me
Mhm.
what degree I have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Yeah.
found that as well? I know all of you have started your own businesses at this point, but when you
Mhm.
applied anywhere else, did anybody be like, "Oh, what
No,
degree did you get?" Or.
not really. They
Maybe
haven't wanted to see my
once.
degree, but they wanted to see my general contracting license a lot.
Yeah, I believe that. Tanya, you said once.
Just once. Yeah.
What kind of what kind were you going into teaching? Is that what you were trying to do? Or
It was an early intervention program, and they didn't
okay.
actually ask to see it. They just wanted to know what it was in. So
So
Uh-huh.
I could have been
portable.
lying for all they know.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
just thinking. Blake, have you had
yeah,
anybody?
I mean, it was almost when I went into worked for somebody else in refrigeration and stuff for a short time when I was 22. It was almost more shocking that I had a college degree than it was. They were like, "Wait, you have a bachelor's degree?" And I was like, "Yeah." When they looked at my resume, and they were kind of like, "Oh, well, what the heck are you doing applying for a technician job?" It's like
Mm,
so that was the probably the cast I had was more of like, why do you have a degree and why are you here trying to get a job as a technician
mm.
per se?
That's so interesting, isn't it? So, what would you say was the moment you realized that your degree was not the path you wanted to take?
When I lived in my check.
Oh,
That's a good point. That's a
maybe
good
that's
point.
not the
When I
degree.
lived in my check, and then I didn't feel fulfilled. So I was stressed out, working so hard, no flexibility in my schedule. And then at the end of the month, you get that check, and you're just like, nah, this is not working.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm,
So,
Yeah.
I, I believe that, especially in education.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
That is
And I
true.
imagine if you have like student debt from your 4 year degree, you're probably looking like,
absolutely.
is my yearly income worthwhile of you know, uh, what my student loans? And unfortunately for me, I don't have student loans, which is a good thing. But if I did, I mean, like the average 4 years of school now costs 153,000, the
Mm,
average 4 year. And the average 4 year back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the average of 4 years was 47,552. So it's exponentially gone crazy high. So that's kind of like, is it really, I mean, even a business degree is great. It does kind of help you in communication, but you could do that at a community college. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to do, you don't need to do 2-year core stuff and then 2 years of whatever your degree is going to be in, a 4-year degree, and have $153,000 just because so I can write pretty, make good business arguments, and have communication skills in Excel. I can do that at my local community college for so much cheaper. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like where my children are at this point in time with what they're doing.
We're gonna talk about that
Praise
in a
the
minute
Lord on
too.
that.
We're gonna go to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I think a big part is the cost in versus cost out,
Yes,
and
exactly.
that's a way I view it a lot is like, okay, if you have your education and it's just for quick numbers, like if you have a $40,000 education and it puts you in a position that you can make 60, 70, $80,000, and okay, that's probably long term, that's probably worth it. But if you have, like Patricia said, if you have $150,000 in education cost and you're peaking at the same 60, 70, $80,000, then no, it's probably not worth it because you're never going to round the corner on what you're investing into the education part per
Mm-hmm.
Right.
se. Whereas, and I was lucky, I don't have student debt either.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to look through that rearview mirror wondering, oh, is this ever going to be worth anything or whatever? So I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had to worry about stress about that. But if I had, I would have. I mean, it puts you in a position that if you're not doing what you're doing and you're paying a bunch of debt, that it would be difficult to make that
Right.
more difficult to make that transition.
Mm,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean,
I've had
exactly.
clients in that situation where they've just got it looming over here.
Mm.
And there's no, I don't want to say there's no possible way, but in their career, there's no real ability to increase what you're making. This is it. Like maybe a 2% increase a year, but like we are all blessed in our businesses that if we need to make more money, we hustle more and get more business.
Yeah. Hmm.
Doesn't always work. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
2008,
Yes.
9,
Yes.
10 showed
It's,
us, things hit the
yes.
fan and it's hard.
Yes.
But we have that ability as entrepreneurs and business owners to really work to try to make things work. Whereas those who were sold this story are really, some of them are super stuck. And it's heartbreaking to see them just be like, I can barely pay my bills because I owe
For sure.
$75,000, but I make 50.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because your average college education for that costs 3.7 times their yearly salary. How can you combat that? When we were going to school, it's like 1.8 times. Now it's 3.7. That's crazy. Times your yearly income.
Mm,
How do you ever get ahead? You
yeah.
can't.
No, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Um, so just a more personal question. What, Trish, Tanya, you basically already answered this a little bit for us, but how did you end up in your trade specifically? What drew you into that particular career?
So my mother was a licensed massage therapist, and she owned her own spa.
Mm,
So she was like my idol. I like looked up to her, and I was like, I could do that.
mm,
Not knowing that I think for me that was a plan all along because
mm.
I mean I love what I do. I think it's my gift. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So she was a big reason, and she just
Mhm.
really, I mean, it was kind of the table was already kind of set for me to
Mm,
just go into that family business.
I love that.
Mhm.
How about you, Patricia?
Well, for me, it was I have a father that I looked up to tremendously, and a mother just always saying, always get your education, make your own money, be your own person. So, from very little age, I was riding around on job sites with my dad every weekend. And so that just turned into a love of building. And so that went into you know, going into, I always knew I was going into the family business, but I had that caveat, both my mom and dad, you got to get your college education to work for me though. but
Of
but
course.
truly, that's just because they wanted me to get that, the ball into it. You need a 4-year year degree. You have to have
Mhm,
it. So
mhm.
yes, but that was always, I'm very much kind of like flying with Tanya here, except it was more like my dad was in the business. I loved it, loved spending time with him, and idolized him, and yeah.
Love it. Blake.
Um, so dad was a general contractor. Um, so when I was 8 or 9, I mean, I was sweeping job sites in the summer, trying to make a little bit of extra allowance or whatever, and just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to spend time with dad. And if you weren't on the job site, you weren't going to spend time with dad, and that's
That's right.
how it is
Yeah.
as a self-employed family.
Yeah.
And then 2008, 2009 hit, and dad had built the house for a local franchise owner operator, and he said he needed somebody to go and start working on his equipment and stuff. So we when we did that, I started riding with dad in the summer. Still, I was probably 13, 14, figuring out how to work on restaurant equipment and different things. So then when I went to college, I mean, I always had that as like a fallback plan. So then I came back, worked with dad for a couple years while I finished my bachelor's degree online. And then I went and worked for somebody, learned the refrigeration side and learned everything else, which was basically apprenticed for 2 years, and then was able to go back out on my own and get my licensing and get that to be able to go full time.
Mhm.
And yours isn't that old, comparatively speaking. They've been in 20 something years. How long has Coastal M&R been in action now?
Technically, Coastal M&R has been in action since 2019, but
Mm-hmm.
there was 2 years when I was apprenticing that it was dormant. So full time again, it has been since 2022.
Okay. How?
So it's
Seems like it was like 2 years
so it's yeah, so it's been 4 years since I went back full time in business for myself.
Well, that transitions to the next question that I had. When you all decided to make this transition from what you thought you would be doing to what you are doing, was that scary or was it extremely freeing?
So freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, because I think me and Hannah had been married 6 months. And I was like, I think I'm going to try to go into business for myself. And she was like, and luckily I have 100% support from her because she was tired of me working where I was working. Um, so it was freeing in the sense that I gained back that control, or whatever control they consider self-employment that they
Mm-hmm.
say you have. But at the same time, I mean, it was scary because we were still in the newlywed phase, and hopefully I had something to land on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's hard enough as it is.
So,
Let's just add a new business to
yeah,
it. Be fine. It's
yeah.
fine. No problem.
Yeah.
How about you, Patricia?
Yeah.
I know you kind of still went the same route, but was there any point
Yeah.
where it was just,
So I think it was freeing in the initial part, but then when we hit the economy slide in 7, 8, 9, 10, and Chris and I had only been married for a few years at that time.
mm-hmm,
And so that was really traumatic. I mean, and it wasn't like the economy just got a year or two and you had to kind of deal with that. It was years.
mm-hmm,
And then I was asking myself, what did you do? Why did you decide to get in this field of work? And I was sort of thinking, I should have been something else. I should have been something else. But
yeah,
yeah, it worked itself out. But that was very, really scary. Really scary.
mm, yeah.
Sure.
Me and Aaron got married in 2007.
So
It was a beautiful
you,
time.
you understand. You understand.
Uh-huh. And then fast forward to 2008. He was leading that construction company. Um, it was not
Right.
not it's
Yes.
so funny that the majority of us were just married when all
I
that
got
stuff.
married 2008. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're the strongest of strength when it comes to marriages and businesses right
Yeah.
now.
Well, if you made it through that with marriage, you probably do have a very strong marriage because it was
Mhm,
very difficult.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Did you guys feel any shame or were you given any shame when you stepped away from your degree, what you were looking at, your career, into something that was not secure? Is what I would probably say what people are saying your education would bring security.
So when I was in that aviation program, By the end of it, I had figured I was gonna probably go back home and either work in the family business or try to get into refrigeration or different things, depending on how the avenues laid out. And I had a professor, teacher that literally told me it would be the biggest mistake would make, and I would not be nearly as successful in the aviation as in that industry as I would be in the aviation industry.
Interesting. Interesting. We're gonna ask a question on that in just a minute too. Anybody else?
I had some family members that kind of looked down on me. They're like, that doesn't
Mm,
make sense. Why are you working with your mom and you got this degree? Shouldn't you be using your degree? Like, isn't that what you went to school for? And I'm just
mm,
like, yeah, you don't understand, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was
I
probably
went.
told that during the time of the fall of the economy, like, well, you don't have to be in general contracting. You don't have to be building houses. Why don't you use your degree and go do something with it? It's like, okay, no pressure.
Oh gosh. Well, I actually went to school for early childhood education for a few semesters, and I was an insurance agent at BB&T in Moorhead, and I just got promoted to CSA and all these things, and I went for 3 semesters and then really pulled the reports for pay, like what teacher pay was. And I got looking at it and I was like, it's $20,000 a year less than, okay, now in 2000, this was probably 2007. $40,000 went a lot further than
yeah,
Yes.
it
that's
did now.
right.
Yeah.
So I made like $30,000 a year with benefits and everything else BBT, and that was considered great full time salary. Like,
Mhm.
well, like the first year teacher was like 19, and I was like, what
Right.
in the world? So then as I was looking through this, I finally had a sit down conversation with my husband and was like, okay, so what are we doing in our future? Is this something that is going to happen, or am I going to work with you in the family business at Golden Building, or am I going to, and I really had to sit down. So I ended up switching that. And still don't use a business degree, really. It is what it is. But that was one of those things. Like people, I don't think do that. They go, oh, I have a passion for X, Y, Z. We're going to go get the education, but then they don't look at the long. I mean, they're 18. They don't look
Yeah.
to see what they're going to make in the future, what they're gonna have to do there. So, I definitely didn't feel any shame when I got my real estate license. When I quit BB&T in 2011, the economy still was not great
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
all. I had 2 kids though, and I was not gonna or let's be real, they were gonna kill Gail because they were cray cray. So she just needed to not have to. My mother in law, I didn't want to put that on her. I wanted to be with my children, and people did act like you have a secure job. You are an insurance agent. You've got benefits. You've got this and
Mhm.
that. I'm like, yeah, and this is where I cap. Like, that's it. Um, so we switched everything. It was
Mhm.
terrifying, honestly. And people did act
Mhm.
like we were a little crazy. I
Mhm.
told her, I was like, if I can sell this many houses and make $30,000 a year, we'll be great. So that was my goal.
Yeah.
$30,000. I can make it. And we did. I mean, but it was quite the pivot
Right.
to say
Right.
the least.
Right.
So we were
Yeah, I
just
mean,
go
me
ahead.
and me and Dad had those conversations, so I think my quota at the other job was like $235 a day was what I made.
Hmm.
And me and Dad were like, "Well, if we can bill out that much, you're going to be in the same position you were in."
Yeah. And so that's like the perfect thing, talking numbers. Are you making, you don't have to give numbers. I don't want like all your personal stuff out there.
Mhm.
More or less or about the same as you expected with your degree.
More.
Definitely more.
Trisha, what do
Yeah.
you think?
I definitely make more than what I thought it would be
Hmm.
at 18. Yeah, I definitely think I'm
And
making.
so basically what we're saying is I'm the same. We're making more. And I think in all these cases, significantly more than our degree could have ever provided.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. Yes.
Right.
Because
And
I would
with
have been the same had you
flexibility.
been business with a banking situation. I mean, that'd probably be where you would go if I wasn't, a banking facility of some sort with a business degree.
Hmm.
Definitely like where you are at Lene with real estate. I'm definitely in the business I'm in now. I make a lot more money than I would have made staying there, staying in some situation like that for sure.
Tanya, what were
Yeah.
you saying?
I was saying, more money and with flexibility, with peace, with happiness. Like I get up every day excited to go to work. You know, I set my own schedule. I'm able to take my children to school. I'm able to pick my kids up from school. I'm able to work around, you know, all the other things that I have to do. So being a wife, being a mom. So,
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a win-win overall.
mm-hmm. Is you,
Yes.
was your instructor correct, Blake?
No.
That you
I
like when he said
I
that, I was
had
like, wait a
a
minute.
I actually had a classmate. We used to have a group chat, and a classmate asked one time. Um, he was like, "What do you think?" He said, "Do you think you're doing better than you would have?" I said, "Well," and because they were all saying it in a judgmental way, I said, "Well, this was like year two. I was like, I'm slated to bill out this much this year, so I think I'm doing okay." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
That's crazy.
So,
Um, how does job security in your trade compared to what you thought your career would be?
I
I
think it's
mean, mine's
great. I
probably,
mean, 24 years in, so I think, you know, people are
um,
stressed, people are in pain, and when you want to help people, you have that passion because it's not just about the money for me. It's about helping people, making people feel better, and people can tell that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Blake?
um, I don't even remember. I was gonna say something. I got a text and I was looking at it.
What you get? No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
What'd I say? How was your job security in your trade compared to what you?
Oh, I mean, my because I was gonna go into aviation maintenance, and
Mm-hmm.
so like I was actually a part of Liberty's team in the national competition when I was in the aviation program at the national competition. And they said then that the average, and this was 2018, so this was almost 10 years ago. So they said then the average age of an aviation mechanic was 54.
Mm,
So, and that was 10 years ago. So, assuming not a huge spike of aviation mechanics has happened, I would assume
mm,
that that had gone up. So, I had pretty solid like job security in that avenue, and like people are
mhm,
still going to travel and stuff like that. But, I mean, I have just as good a job security now. I mean, a restaurant calls has $30,000 worth of food in their walk-in freezer. They don't care. They need it fixed. It doesn't matter what it takes.
Right.
So,
Right.
You're gonna make the money.
yeah, yeah.
Not
So,
everybody can do that.
Mhm.
I would say for building and real estate, it's very, I don't want to call it secure because nothing's secure. Yeah,
Okay.
it's we always say me and Chad Howery all the time, steak and ramen, steak and ramen, steak and ramen.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm very blessed that my
So.
children love ramen. So I mean, I think they do connect with integrity, wanting to help people, and your
Mhm.
reputation on it are like the top things to get those clients to keep coming
Mhm.
back. And I mean, the economy is drives a lot of what
Yes.
we
Yes.
do. And it's hard being dependent on that, but God always
Yes.
provides the ways. So,
Always. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
so do
yeah,
you?
and
Go ahead.
Dad's made that transition. Us being in refrigeration now, because like I said, he was building houses
Hmm.
and doing foreclosures in 2008, 9, 10, and then we transitioned to the more restaurant side of it when we had the opportunity. We definitely feel there's a little less volatility
Mm,
in what we are currently than what even he used to. Me and him have talked about that several times. And it's like there's not as many ebbs and flow. I mean, our biggest customer we is McDonald's. I mean, McDonald's is going to sell food. I mean, it's so we've
do you eat at
had a
McDonald's?
consistency in that select ones.
My kids love it. I'm not a, no offense to them. I like their French fries a lot.
Same.
Do you feel more in control of your income now than you did when you were just getting your paychecks from somebody else?
For sure.
I got nods. I was like, that's all. Okay. I really
Y-
thought there'd be more on that.
yes, but it's a double-edged sword because now it's, I mean, because now I have employees and different things, so the view of it has shifted because it's
Mm,
more of like, okay, I need to delegate certain things and do to put
Mhm.
us in a position that the company makes more, if that makes sense, instead
yeah.
of it being just, oh, if I, the more time I, because even so, in the service industry, I can only put so much time in. So
Mm-hmm.
that was, I was at the peak of what I could do by myself. And then that's when I hired people. And then now it's like, okay, now the peak is what all five of us can do, or all four of us can do. And that's where it shifts for me
Mhm.
personally, is that I could only go so far by myself. So my income could only get to a certain point. But as the business owner, once I hired somebody and subcontractors are the same way and everything, that's what put it in the position that, okay, now the ceiling has gotten higher because I can only put, I mean, realistically, I can only put 60 hours a week into it, and I can only bill out what I can bill out in that 60 hours, and that's all it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's like, okay, now we can bill out, I can still bill out my 60 hours, but now I got other people that are billing out 45 to
Mm-hmm.
50 hours and different things, and that's what puts it in the position that the ceiling can grow.
We call that in real
Right.
estate leverage.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep, for sure. That's awesome. Well, what is something about the trades financially that people don't realize? And you might have basically just answered that question. The sky's the limit kind of thing. Like what is something you would share with somebody about the financial aspect of it? That maybe you didn't
Cash
even
flow
real
is king.
cash flow is
Yeah.
king.
Yeah.
If you can't cash flow, anybody can go make money, but if you can't cash flow, you ain't going to make it.
Mm,
Mhm. 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 Yeah.
100%.
yes, absolutely. How about you ladies? You got anything you'd like to throw in there on that?
Well, I think some of the trades, well, in my industry for building, a lot of the trades are going out. People are aging out in the trades, and there's people that don't know how to do those trades. And so I think it's like a prime time for young people coming up to understand plumbing, electrical, HVAC, trim carpentry. I mean, just that in itself. All of those are like aging out. Most people are in their late 40s, 50s, and 60s who are doing those. And there's not a lot of young people doing those right now.
Mm-hmm.
My son ended up wasn't a college guy. He just didn't want to do that, and so he went into trade school. And so trade school paid him to go to school and paid him salary to be at school,
Mm.
um, to be a mechanic. And so he's working for that company and he's doing really really well. And so there's different avenues, but I really feel like if you're young right now, I would say go into some sort of trade. Seriously.
Look, so we have had a question pop up. I don't know if you can see this or
I,
not. I
I
can see
can't.
it. It says Bryson Paul says, "Does Patricia have any kids? And if so, which one is her favorite?"
No doubt. No doubt. No
Oh, I'm
doubt.
just shocked. I'm just shocked by
No
that.
doubt.
He also
Speak
said,
of the
"Hey,
devil.
she's talking about me."
Yeah.
He is like the
Yeah.
a great example of it. Like
He's very a
truly.
great example of really what a young kid can do by going into a trade school and then having people pay for them to go to a trade school and get a degree and have something that, you know, as a mechanic, all those industrial degrees that he's got inside his trade school. I mean, nobody can take it away from him. Didn't cost him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's,
Amazing.
able to leverage that for the company he works for, but he could go to other companies that were industrial and work for them just as well. So that's what I'm saying. There's just other avenues to do that. And even my daughter, going to, she's going into the ribbon program. And, nursing, always been told a 4-year degree, you got to go to a 4-year degree. Well, she's going to get a 4-year degree, but she's going through ribbon, which is a dual enrollment with community college. And so her degree to get a 4-year degree is going to be exponentially cheaper than it is for her to just to go to a 4-year college and get it. So even though her degree will be from a 4-year college, it will be dual enrollment with a community college. And a lot of people don't know about those things, and so they're going in and just going into whatever 4-year degree to get their nursing degree, not even knowing this exists.
Mm-hmm.
And that saves parents and children. The goal is that both my kids can get an education of whatever they wanted to be and not have debt. which
Yep.
my mom and dad provided that for me, just like, Blake's parents provided that for him. That's a really nice thing to start off life with, not having a $150,000 debt to you before you even made your first dime, you know.
Yes. Well, that is like a perfect thing. I was thinking about this before we signed on. All of us have children and we're all
Mhm.
in different seasons. So
Yes.
Blake is just started. Two. Is she two? Is that right?
1.5, 2 in August.
Ugh, she's almost there. Sweet baby. Gosh.
Ooh.
And then how old are yours, Tanya? She has three.
6, 10, and 14.
And then Trisha, yours are
18 and 22.
22. And then mine are 9, 12, getting ready to be 15, 16. And so they're
Mhm.
all in this like different transition of things. So, if a 17-year-old was to come up to you or any of your children and come up to you and they didn't want to go to college, what would your response be to them?
Don't go. That's what I say. If you don't want to go, find something you love and learn how to make money at it.
Mm,
You know, that's what
mm-hmm,
I'm saying. Find something. If you know that college is not your way, I mean, my son came up to me and said, Mom, I just cannot go to another 4 years of school. I just cannot do it. He likes to be hands on. And so his avenue ended up being trade school, very hands on in the company that, and he has some hard days, don't get me wrong, where he works. He does.
mm-hmm.
But he makes really good money doing those hard days. But it's also, he likes to be active with his hands. So great. It worked out from him.
I think it would be. I mean, it would be. I feel like a multifold conversation. I mean, it wouldn't be if somebody just came up to me. It'd be like I would just be like, oh, yes or no. I think
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's so different for each individual. Like, and I think it's different in what you want to do because I think there's
Yeah.
certain things that you still need a degree. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's certain things that the college way is the better way or different things, but
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things I feel like that, and I think this happens at a younger age. I mean, I started working when I was like 7 or 8. I mean,
Right.
so I knew the value of hard work. I knew the value of time put in. I knew that growing up. Um, so I think there's a part of it that leads into, well, just it depends on the individual, I feel like. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and if a 17-year-old told me that, then I'd be like, okay, then what's your path? Because like if you don't have a clear idea of where you're gonna go, then that's what you need to figure out more than whether it's college or not. Either way, you need to figure out what path are you going to go on. What are you passionate about? What do you love? If you can find something that you love and you can find a way to make money at it, then yeah, definitely do it. But also in the same way like you said with teaching and different things, like also know what the ceiling is. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you're like, oh, I'm really passionate about this, but your ceiling is not where you want to see your life, then okay, then maybe that can be a side thing. Like that doesn't, maybe that's not your full-time thing. So I think it's just that each individual is so different. I mean, because if you would have told me at 18 that I'd be where I was, I would have been like, yeah, no. I mean, that wasn't that where I am now. I'm like that. That's not the path that I would have taken, but it took the
Mm-hmm.
path to get where I am. So
Right. That's good. How about you, Tanya? What would be your 2 cents?
I kind of agree with Blake. It just depends on the individual because, like, my middle child wants to be a veterinarian. Well, she's gonna have to go to college. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? My oldest one, she's kind of going back and forth between aesthetics and nursing, so trying to figure that out one. And then my 6-year-old's like, I don't want to do anything. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, you're gonna have to do something. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna marry a rich man.
Get it,
There
But
girl.
you go.
she's 6, so I'm like, well, you're gonna have to at least get a trade. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to do something.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Well, like back to what Patricia was talking about, and that might be something I could like reach out to the college and like, but there are some amazing programs right now for teenagers who really do not want to do college. Like,
Yeah.
I know Jude it was actually they can start in some programs at the college in the ninth grade.
Mhm.
And there's just a handful of them that are available for that age, but they include car mechanics, welding,
Right.
electricians, and like Jude, my son, he's 15. I think Camp, my nephew, as well. He's been looking at them. and just options on that. Then I have Eliza, who is getting ready to turn 17 this year. And she was dual enrolled last year for a visual arts degree. She was not really pleased with me when I told her she was going to do that, but she's doing great, and she does, like, she's learning a ton of her drawing and her stuff. But all these things are provided if they're dual enrolled for little to
Right.
nothing
Right.
for
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
students. And mine are homeschooled. So it's not
Mhm.
just for the public school, private school sector. Like, it is,
Right.
there are items and education available for these kids. And I don't think they know, or that their
It's
parents know,
been right.
really, um, what is available. Um,
Right. Because we all know
but
there's certain things you got to have to for you have to have a degree in certain things,
yeah.
being like a doctor or
Yeah.
veterinarian, you do
Mm,
for sure. But there's a lot of things that if a kid's coming up to you and like, I don't even know that I want to go,
Mhm.
I don't know that you want to have $153,000 experience on. I don't even know if I want to be there. That's kind of
mhm,
like the thing. So can you probably go to a community college or a trade school and kind of fill it out, see what you like and that kind of thing.
mhm,
And like you just said, there's so many different programs down at community colleges that we just are not really told to us. Really, we don't know. I didn't know anything about ribbon at all
mhm,
until my daughter, my son's fiance was in it, and
mhm,
got told that way. And then that's how Ava ended up getting through that ribbon program. And so didn't know anything about it. You just think you're going to go to a 4 year, nursing, you go to a 4 year school and become a nurse and a 4 year degree. And
mhm.
actually, that's not exactly how the path she's doing it, but she will end up with a 4 year degree. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's also a breakdown in high school and middle school of no vocation
Mm, mm,
classes as much.
Yeah.
And that was like phasing out when I was in high school. I graduated in 2016. So that was like starting to phase out when I was in high school. It was like, you had the marketing classes then, and then you had the like that stuff, but you didn't have wood shop anymore. You didn't have auto
Right.
shop. You didn't have some of those items that you know can shape your experience and what you have experience in. So I think there's a lot of it that, like, luckily I worked hands on with in a family business, and I
mhm,
knew that that was like the path that I was going to go. But like people that don't have that experience, I think that that's a breakdown in education that happens too, is because I think that the education system sometimes is so geared towards college that they're more focused on that rather than going, hey, we still do need the car mechanic, and we still need the HVAC person, and we still need the plumber, we still need the electrician,
mhm,
where some of that isn't, talked about.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need terribly, like in my career, surveyors. That's one that we're extremely shorthanded on. And I don't know anybody like with children who are going to be a surveyor.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
have not heard that anytime. Appraisers is another thing, but I actually just found out the other day, y'all, that appraisers need a 4 year degree. They require a bachelor's degree to be an appraiser. I did not know that. Um, so that kind of ruined that
Mhm.
idea. I was like,
Mhm.
wait, what? I had no idea. Um, so how would you advise parents? I mean, we're all parents at this point, but being
Mhm.
in the trades, being entrepreneurs and owning our own businesses, if their kid comes up to them and says, I don't want to go to college, I know, like, growing, like raising my kids, when they started saying that kind of stuff, at first I get a little defensive and be like, well, you're supposed to be smart, you're supposed to do these things. And so what would be your advice to parents that are watching now when their children come up and, like, are, and I guarantee they're scared to have that conversation with them. um what would be the approach that you would advise them with their children?
I would just say support them, hear their heart and listen to them because they know whatever they do, it needs to be something that they are interested in and they actually want to do. And some
Mhm.
children really need that push and that support and that guidance from parents. So I would just say, hear them out. And it's okay. If you don't want to go to college and you want to do a trade, then I
Mhm.
support you 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that
Yeah, I
so
had
much.
that conversation. So yeah, I completely agree with what Tanya said. You just got
Mhm.
to support them. But it was scary at first when he said, I don't want to do college. Because to me, I was like, what do you mean you're not going to do college? What are you going to do? I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, okay. So then he got a job working for an HVAC company, making like $10 an hour, and I'm thinking, oh my word, you can't get out of the house for $10 an hour. You're not. I mean, you're working for HVAC company, and you're not going to college, and then he ended up developing into trade school and stuff, and so. Yeah, but I was really kind of scared when he said he didn't want to go anywhere, didn't know what he wanted to do. So yeah, that was very
I
scary.
mean, yeah, I think a big part is like, okay, if you don't want to go to college, that's fine.
But why?
But I think the conversation needs to be
Mhm.
had like to get help. Then I'm going to help walk with you through this and figure out what path you want to take.
Yeah,
Because I think easily it can be like, oh, I don't want to go to college, and then they want to sit on the couch and do nothing. I'm like, well, that's not going to be an option. If you're going to not
right.
go to college, you're going to do something. Like you're going
Yeah.
to either it
Yes.
is going to work a job just to work a job at the time, which was
Mhm.
like Bryson with the HVAC company and stuff while he was finding his path. Like that's okay, but it's like
Yeah.
be working towards what your goal and what your path is and to get
Exactly,
there.
exactly, exactly. And I think he found out through that path that he was working really, really hard for not a whole lot of money. And then he said, well, I can be working really, really hard for a lot more money. And so that's kind of where the trade school came in. You kind of start
Mhm.
thinking, oh, is this the life I really want for myself? And so I think that's where he was,
Mhm.
at, which is what, like, like saying you can't, they're not going to sit home and on the couch all day while they're trying to find themselves. They need to be getting a job in the
Yeah.
meantime. Yeah.
I think that's where the parents' fear comes from when they're like, "We're not going to do that." Then what are you going to do? Because you ain't staying
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
sorry.
think
Right.
sometimes sometimes it's scary to have that conversation of like, okay, but you're going to do something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Well, I
I'm
made.
so
Were you going to say something else? I'm sorry.
no, it's yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
I made Eliza get a job, and she was horribly upset with me. And she's still, yeah, this wasn't my choice. The whole thing. Um, she really does enjoy it, and she's doing great. But I do think it was really imperative for her to see that, well, you have a choice. You can do this kind of work the rest of your life if that's what you want to
Mhm.
do, and that's your choice. So be it.
Mhm.
But she's learning, yeah, I don't think I want to serve tables my entire life. Like this
Right.
might not. So it was like really a perspective moment for her of I can go get a two, like, and I told her, I was like, at least get a 2-year degree. I would be fine with that. Because she
Mhm.
is an artist. That is her heart. That's what she wants to do. Well, great. Get a little something to help you critique all these things that you do. And she is at the community college, doing great, loving it as much as any person can love school who doesn't like school.
Mhm.
But I think that's where that parents come in, and they're just like, but you've got to do something. Like there's got to be
Yeah.
something there.
Right.
Um, Real quick, what does making it look like to you now? I know what we talked about, what you thought your success was going to be, but what is your success now that you're like, this is it. We are making it. This is now the dream.
Mhm.
I say
Uh,
peace.
yes, I was getting ready to say the same thing. Yes, peace,
Yeah.
peace.
See,
That's
okay.
some peace in the
Mhm.
situation. I
Mhm.
mean,
Um,
it's great to have money. Don't get me wrong. It's great to make money, and then but making money too comes along a lot of stress. So I
Yeah.
learned really hard in that bad situation of the economy that I was stressed out not making money, but
Yeah.
I'd rather be stressed out making it than not making it. And so, but peace in that, like she was saying, just having some peace about it is a lot. Being able to
Yeah.
enjoy your family, being able to have
Mhm.
being able to have some conversations with God about what's going on in your life. Those kind of things I think are really important.
How about you, Blake? What does
I
making
mean,
it?
I think at my current stage of life, because I'm still kind of on the I mean, we have grown a lot, but I'm still kind of on the grind up. So I mean, I'm still working a lot of hours. I'm still putting in the time that I'm putting in for work, but what I do has put me in a position that my wife is able to stay home with the kid,
Mhm.
and that was something that was very important to me and Hannah, um, which was part of the transition for when I went back into business for myself, because I said that the money I was making at that time, I'm like, is this thing going to be put us in that type of position to do that comfortably? We were able to buy a house very young, relatively, and I mean, and it's grown differently because now I have employees and like I'm helping support others as well. So it's just, I mean, the and taking care of my people because I worked for a company that I didn't feel like they really took care of us. So that's something else that like I've strived for. That it's like I'm paying my people well. I'm doing things to support them. Um, so that all leans into it. But I mean, I'd say probably like making it wise, like the ability for my wife to stay home with our kid
Mm-hmm.
and for us to not be stressed about daycare bills or stressed about anything else, and us to be able to live in a way that like we don't really have to think financially about like, oh, is that going to break the bank or whatever. Like we were on vacation, Hannah ended up having to go to an emergency room, and it was like, oh, but we can afford it, it's okay. Like we don't have to freak out over every little emergency or every little thing. And that's the position where I wanted to have my family.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal for sure. And that actually goes hand in hand with peace. You have the peace that you can live your life and it's okay. It's okay to do. Well, as we end here, I love this little like quick fire answer three thing. So I'm gonna ask like this or that, and you guys just shout what you think. Okay. So it's a degree versus trade quick fire. So degree or skill,
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 Yeah.
salary or freedom,
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 stability or flexibility.
Flexibility.
flexibility,
stability,
Oh, I was like, he's thinking hard on that one. Passion or practicality.
passion.
passion.
Hmm.
I love the different
I would
personality.
probably say passion, but I mean, I'm a practical person too. So I would probably say I'd have to go with both. I'd hit the button on both.
I was gonna say go with what you're feeling, not with what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys would like to add that we didn't hit on to encourage teens? I know like there's teens watching, there's parents watching, there's Charlie got on here and flat out said, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. We're all
Yeah.
still in this thing together. And I mean, like anything you want to add to people, especially adults. Like I think us as adults really feel like we've made a decision, we're stuck in this, we can't do anything different. Anything you want to
Yeah.
add to those people
It's
who
never too late. It's never too late. My mom, she worked in banking for 25 years.
mm,
She was 48 years old when she went to massage therapy school, had a family, started a business. So,
mhm,
long as God gives you breath in your body and you
mm,
are alive and well, then it's
mm,
never too late.
yep,
Chase your dreams. That's what I say.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
With the adults, I say the most critical thing is if you're married, that your spouse is 100% on board with what you choose.
yeah,
Because though that first year, there was a lot of long days, long nights, long overnight trips sometimes for stuff, traveling a lot for different jobs just to make the ends meet or whatever. And
mm-hmm,
Hannah, my wife, was 100% on board. And if that wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have been able, I wouldn't have been able to be in the position that I am now
mm,
if she wouldn't have 100% supported what we were doing at that time.
mm, yeah, that's super
I would
important.
say if you're a young person, find out what you like. And there's nothing wrong with shadowing people. I don't think we do that anymore. Like
Mm.
shadowing nurses,
Apprenticeship.
shadowing trim carpenters, shadowing plumbers, electricians. Go and shadow. They wouldn't mind you doing it. I mean, they wouldn't. Shadow to figure out what you like and if
Mm-hmm,
and see if and like 4-year school might be what you need to do if you want to be a
mm-hmm,
certain thing. But you also there's a lot of other opportunities other than just these 3 or 4 items that you go to school for. So I would say shadow some people. And if you're a parent and they don't want to go to college, I would say, just kind of like we've been talking about, walk with them. But, they're not sitting home. They're going to be figuring it out. They're going to be on
yeah,
a path. It's not going to be sitting home.
exactly. Well, I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful for you coming on. Um, yeah, I just I think that's a great note to end on. So thank you all for joining.
Thanks for
Anybody
having us.
who has any questions for any of them or for me, or want any information on building or refrigeration things or massage therapy, I have created a link, and it's at the bottom of my post on this live, that you can click, fill out real quick. We'll get in contact with you. But yeah, y'all have a great, blessed day. I love each one of you, and thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the train went home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home.